Welcome to M Squared TechCast.
Hey, it's Matt Roush.
And Mike Brennan.
And we're back with another segment of the M Squared TechCast. We're talking with the man who established Michigan's first non-governmental internet service provider way back in the dial-up days.
Yep, the famous or notorious as it may be, Gary Baker.
Yes. Welcome to the show, Gary.
Quite an introduction. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
So
All right.
We're very upset with you because you're in Florida and we're in Michigan
And we're
right
not.
now.
Yes, right.
And so we're all coming right after the show. We're getting on a jet and flying down. So
Hey, you guys are more than welcome. And we were in a little bit of a chill here. It's 76.
oh no,
dang.
how can you handle that kind of
Probably
weather?
people they're probably wearing coats.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually below 70 this morning, so real cold.
Okay. Well, it's a little bit chilly in Las Vegas right now, I noticed, too. I checked the weather there. It was like 54 degrees a couple hours ago for CES. That's where I really wish I was right now. But,
yeah, well, both of us. Yeah, all of us wish we were there.
Let's talk about tech trends and predictions for 2020. You've got a bunch of them here, so let's get started. You wanted to talk a little bit about the rollout of 5G. How is that going to change things this year?
Yeah, we've heard all about it, and AT&T and Verizon both have rolled out what they call the high band 5G, which is the really fast 5G. But AT&T rolled it out to 35 cities, Detroit being one of them, and Verizon rolled out to 31 cities. However, for AT&T, only businesses can get on the high band right now. So some of us that are going around and we're seeing 5G pop up on our phone, we think, hey, we're on. Actually, that's the low band 5G.
Which isn't that much better than 4G.
It's faster than 4G,
okay,
but it's not the really high fast.
Don't you need the more advanced phones to get 5G? That was always my impression, because I have a older Android that just gets 4G. Can I get 5G on it?
Yeah, actually, Samsung Galaxy S11 comes out mid next month. That'll be the first phone that really supports both the high band and the low band networks. And so that'll be the first phone. You may notice if you got one of the really nice, cool iPhones, the iPhone 11 or the Pro Max back in October, no, it doesn't have 5G. That won't come until next September, October.
So what do you say?
When that happens, then I do believe that they'll start opening up to residential or what they call the consumer market.
So people should hold off on upgrading their smartphones until they get a true 5G smartphone out there on the market, right?
You are definitely going to want 5G. So if you can hold on. If you can't, AT&T has a special where you pay $5 and pay up to half of what you paid for the current phone, and then you'll be able to upgrade to the next newest phone. And I would definitely, if you don't have Apple stock, Apple's going to sell a lot of phones next year, as is all of the providers that go to a 5G phone, because it actually will drive a quantum leap in not only speed, but the lower latency. Latency is the startup, how long it takes to actually start the process of transmitting. And it's going to be low latency and very high speed. So 5G is what's going to drive our autonomous vehicles, as well as so many other game-changing, not only consumer, but business products.
Yeah, and you're talking about AT&T moving some data centers, right, to combat latency as well.
Yeah, that's right. They're building what they call them data centers. There actually are. They're huge data centers because that makes sense to aggregate them in certain places. But they're building a little bit more than a head end, which we've seen around the metropolitan area of Detroit, different head ends. But they're actually moving the data center into most of the big cities, and that will help as soon as they can get the cellular connection to a wired connection and then run it very fast to the next city if you need to. So that's actually also going to help speed, not only with speed, but reliability. And that's where it's really at. We don't want our autonomous vehicles working 99% of the time.
Yeah, I understand. So also you're seeing voice UIs in business.
Yeah. Cortana was always positioned by Microsoft as a workplace, chat assistant, voice assistant. But now we're going to see it integrated with all of the Outlook mobile apps. So you'll be able to use dictation. We found there's a couple studies out. One actually very good one by Manifest, business news and network provider, that says that 47% of 18 to 34-year-olds would like to use dictation, but 64% of voice users are 55 years or older. So we're going to see, voice, people that don't like to type, especially don't like to type with their thumbs on a mobile phone. We're going to see voice take over and become more and more the interface of choice especially for the older folks that don't really want to type.
I see images of Scotty talking to his computer,
Yes, sir.
and
and the voices are already better in Star Trek, and that was supposed to be the 23rd century.
Right.
So that's pretty good.
Well, it's funny because we haven't, you can't beam them up yet, right? However, you look at all of,
go ahead.
You look at all the autonomous things. I didn't realize this, but there are 15 companies that are working on what they call vertical takeoff and landing craft. These will be craft, and Uber's the biggest. Yeah, Uber's the biggest, and they are committed to having tests in Dallas, Los Angeles, and Dubai in 2020. So this year,
actual flying cars.
You'll be able to get in and go to a different, elevate, go to a different part of the city, and drop down into like a little teleport. So not dissimilar to where helicopters were, but these will be all autonomous. So you just get in and say, want to go to, this intersection or this heliport or this, they'll call them, I think, teleports, but we'll see. But you'll be able to go there, and because they're talking to all the other aircraft, all the other drones in the sky, and buildings don't move very much.
Not much.
So they can miss buildings, but they it's the movable things that are tough. But if they're all connected, they won't run into each other, and that's the future. Aeromobile, which is a Slovakian company, is on its 4th generation prototype, and they're going to ship to the private market in 2020.
Wow.
And Airbus is also one of the big leaders, and they're going to debut their fully autonomous tracking vehicle in 2020 as well. So they've tested it. It works. Kitty Hawk is another one. That's actually, Larry Page, a good old Michigan boy, also the one of the two co-founders of Google.
Guess he's done well with that, right?
Is an investor there in Kitty Hawk, and they're well on their way to actually coming up with an off-road drone flying machine.
So there you go, Matt. We were saying how much you wanted that flying car.
Yeah. Geez, so we're close to robot maids now, too. The only thing we don't have is warp drive and teleportation. Those are still pretty far off, I think. So let's talk about...
Yeah, I think so.
Let's talk about AI and machine learning a little bit. That's something that people either find fascinating or terrifying or both. I'm kind of into both.
Yeah.
So...
it was introduced. We talked a lot about it in the 80s. And then it kind of went away. It was kind of that Gartner hype curve, where it was overhyped for what it really could do, and then kind of went away, and finally is now coming back in a very usable form. You need a lot of data because you need training data. You need to be able to train the machines. When you think of artificial intelligence, it's really, you think of, there's a learning process, so the machine has to learn to imitate a human behavior. There's a reasoning process, so you got to be able to reason and figure out and there's some algorithms to teach the machine how to do that. And then obviously the self-correction process. Every time it gets close but not quite, and you correct it, and it gets better and better and smarter, and it doesn't make mistakes like humans. And it's not going to be something, you're not going to be able to see an AI app because there's just too much data, too much compute power needed to make it work. But it'll be built into almost everything by the end of this, I say by the end of this decade, probably by the end of this half decade, the next 3, 4, 5 years. Certainly it's being built into the best companies are out there using it today.
Well,
All right, we just got a few minutes left. One of the things you brought up here is another thing I find fascinating is the idea of a digital twin. So let's talk about that
Yeah.
and how that's going to become bigger in the year ahead.
So it's really kind of fun to think about it. A digital twin is really just a digital replica of a living or non-living physical entity. So you could have a digital twin out there. It's an avatar. But you can also have a machine that has a digital twin as well. And really, the whole concept is not, it's been formed by a number of people along the way, but the first person to come up with the actual name digital twin was introduced in 2002 by Dr. Michael Greaves, and I think we all know Mike Greaves, and another good Michigan boy. And he was talking about how you use a digital twin in product lifecycle management in the manufacturing process. But it's something that we're going to see more and more of, and really going to start to see commercial applications coming out for the consumer market this year yet.
Okay, we got a little over a minute left. This is where I let you do your shameless plug for Shared Adventure.
Shared Adventure is not digital, except in the marketing. You could go to sharedadventure.com, but it is it's my retirement job if I ever get around to retiring.
Yeah, well, tell people all about it.
You keep delaying that.
You're down in Fort Lauderdale, and you have this kind of big boat, right?
Yeah, we're buying a new one. It'll be a 51-foot, so sold the 47. We're buying the 51. We'll pick it up in the British Virgin Islands next month and bring it back, and we'll be doing short-term and longer-term. Longer-term meaning week-long charters, but it's a four cabin, each with their own head and shower, crew quarters, not palatial crew quarters, but nonetheless, and we have themed weeks and themed weekends, and have a lot of fun with our guests that have come out. I've been doing this for about 2.5 years, and on a part-time basis, and we'll continue that until retirement, until I can do it full-time.
There you go. And you're such a young,
sharedadventure.com.
and you're only like 49 years old, so you've got a long ways to go to retirement, right?
Yeah, I only wish, in my dreams.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot, Gary Baker. Long time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, tech expert from here in Michigan. A good Michigan man, as he likes to call folks.
Yep.
Traditional four-year students love Lawrence Technological University's thriving campus life. But LTU has always met non-traditional students' needs, too. Lawrence Tech offers over 100 degree and certificate programs that can get adult students started or back on track. And most of our classes are conveniently offered evenings at our beautiful Southfield campus or online, so you can balance your social, family, and work life even while you power up your career. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.